What's up, everybody? YouTube E equals MCU here, and it's treacherous outside. Like, I'm not about to stay out in this, but I did want to talk about the Sony Marvel deal. That apparently Sony and Marvel have reached a new deal concerning their sharing of the characters. I touched on this, I think, a few weeks ago when it was like first reported that something was going on. There's a little bit more details out now, so I just kind of wanted to just give my thoughts on it, and elaborate kind of further on what I said before as far as Sony characters in the MCU. Now, from the sounds of it, it sounds like Sony is giving up on doing the spunk or the smunk or whatever they called it, the Sony Universe or Marvel characters or whatever they were calling it. That's great, but I understand. I do want to just say that I understand what they were thinking or what they were trying to do. I just don't understand that if not Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sorry, if Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal were in agreement, conversation or whatnot, how, if you're Amy Pascal, do you even think you're gonna pull off doing Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web and all this other stuff, and then try to pretend like you're in the MCU? Like, I don't understand how. Like, you're talking about billion-dollar deals being done here, and it just seems very amateurish to think that people will. And I think they were trying to fool people. They're trying to say that, oh, people will think that they're in the MCU if we can take characters from the Spider-Man movie that's in the MCU and then put them somehow in our universe with things. And people will just think that, hey, oh, it's all the same universe. Like, if that's really the case, I kind of feel like they severely underestimate, especially comic book movie fans, how smart they are in the business dealings of what's going on. Or the fact that we knew she threw a sandwich at Kevin Feige. Like, you can't sit up here and pose with Kevin Feige and act like you didn't try to smash a sandwich in this dude's face. Like, that is still the funniest shit I have ever heard come out of Hollywood. Like, if the studio, on Apple TV, there's a show called The Studio. If they really wanted to be funny, they would do a scene where, what's her name? The lady that's in Beetlejuice and Home Alone. She has a part in the studio. And she was the old studio head. And then Seth Rogen comes in, he's the new studio head. They would have a scene where she threw a sandwich at this dude. They would just play that up. That would be hilarious to those of us who know. Now, back to as far as the characters go, I always knew that this was the reason why Spider-Man could not have certain characters appear, and it is one of those things. Like, everybody was mad and complaining for a while that, hey, they shouldn't be able to put Doctor Strange, and why do we have to have Iron Man? And this was all part of the Sony deal, and as far as introducing him into the MCU. So there always has to be an Avenger in a Spider-Man movie, okay? And then and hence then he appears in an Avengers movie. And that was what the trade-off was. But it was just for those things. So the reason why we got Ned and we got Michelle Jones instead of Mary Jane, all these different decisions that were made that pissed a lot of people off were just because Sony's end of the deal, not wanting to basically give up the right, which, and understandably so, because they're a totally different studio. Okay, understand that they don't answer to Disney, so I understand that, but ultimately I am happy that they decided to stop trying to do their own movies and just let Marvel have full control. Now, the problem I have with that, the only problem I have with that, is that Marvel's already scaling back. So it's not like we're going to get any more production or movie or characters out of this, because Marvel's already like trying to just do one movie a year basically, because they feel like they can't do more without messing it up, which, so, you know, we're going into this new Peter Parker era with the new movies. I'm glad they got this deal done. It's not going to really affect the latest movie, but I do believe that's the reason why Daredevil and Kingpin could not show up in Spider-Man, was because Sony was saying no. And it's primarily because those characters are established on TV, and much like what Disney was doing in the early days of Disney Plus, they were trying to cross-pollinate their characters from TV to movies, and I think Sony said no, they didn't want to tarnish the brand of Spider-Man. So they let Daredevil pop up as a cameo as a lawyer, but they didn't let him pop up in his suit and actually do any kind of anything with Spider-Man. So ultimately, I think this is for the good. This is the reason why Marvel did not really want to let Venom into the MCU. As far as Tom Hardy's Venom, like they really just, they threw him a bone at the end of No Way Home. They kind of threw him a bone with the whole coming into the universe and then going back, and they may not have had a say, because ultimately that's Sony's movie. Sony may have forced them to do that scene. So this is good for storytelling for the Spider-Man movies. But I tell you this, and I don't know if it's Tom Holland or if it's Marvel Studios, but it should not have taken 5 years to get another Spider-Man movie. That's ridiculous. And especially, and I hope they don't do this with X-Men. I kind of feel like with Spider-Man X-Men, they almost could just be every other year, and then you do a trilogy, and then you could take an extra year or two between. But the fact that it's been 5 years since No Way Home is ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I hope we get this next trilogy a little quicker, so he can kind of get through some of these characters, so we can get to the Miles Morales and the Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy of it all, which I'm still kind of hoping that's who Sadie Sink is playing, especially if they cast the other kid from Stranger Things as Miles. But he has so many villains, so many stories, there's so many characters. He should be able to knock one of those out every other year. Unless Tom Holland's tired of doing it, which I think he kind of is already. And then in that case, I mean, you think of it this way, we should be on Spider-Man 5 right now this year instead of Spider-Man 4. In which case, then all he would have to do is one more movie, and he could pass the torch to Miles for a while, and he can kind of go on the background and then come back when he's older and play that role. You know what I mean? So it's just about like not burning them out. Like, I get it, but you got to stick to the plan to be smart too. Like, I just don't understand why they have to prolong everything out. Like with Blade and just everything. Like, they're taking forever. And I get it, it's the market and everything. It's like because we went through the pandemic, but just